Welcome back to today's recap and look ahead for week ending June 13th, 2025. Let's get started because a lot happened. So, as usual, we're going to start with the S&P. As you can see, S&P is holding where it needs to. We broke the 8-day. However, to a large extent, we're really holding where we need to. Market did get hit. Obviously, markets don't like conflict, but the market could have been significantly lower. It ended up not being as low as probably people thought it was going to be, which tells you the strength that's there, as well as you have to take a step back and realize in a conflict such as the one that's taking place, which companies are really going to be affected versus which companies are not going to be affected. Now, obviously, markets don't like uncertainty. That's just normal. However, you do have to take a step backwards and say, there's a conflict going on. Is this going to affect Apple? Is it going to affect NVIDIA? Is it going to affect Microsoft, Netflix, et cetera, et cetera? And you start to understand why the market is acting the way that it is. Obviously, uncertainty is always going to bring heightened volatility. But at the same time, you do have to take a step back and say to yourself, if I'm trading, let's just say Google, how much of an effect is this going to have on Google earnings? And that's really the way that you should approach it. We'll get into the stocks and we'll delve a little more deeply, but that's just from a bird's eye view, how you should be looking at some certain things. So that's the S&P. Let's look at NDX. Tech holding in where we need to. I understand it's a conflict, but at the same time, the stock market got hit on the uncertainty, but it could have been significantly worse, and it's not. And that's just telling you something. And I see FANG, as we look at that, holding in much, much better. So that's good. Let's look at the SOX, and then we'll start getting into individual names. Okay, SOX, again, they're all holding where they need to. I'm not going to delve too much into this because really it was a slight pullback after a run. We had a little bit of a run. Let's go back to the S&P for a second. We had a nice little run off the bottom here, a slight little pullback. I don't think this is nothing. We'll see as the conflict develops or de-escalates what happens. However, we're really not falling out of bed. So I know I said last week, new highs in the summertime, probably mid-July. I think that's in the cards. We do have FOMC this week on Wednesday with a press conference. So that could be the ignition. Well, we'll see what happens. All right, let's get into the names. NVIDIA, looking good. Riding the 8-day, it's looking really nice. We want to see what happens once we get above 145. We'll see if we make a beeline towards 150 or not. But it's looking like it wants there, and it's holding very nicely. Taiwan Semi, looking great. This really looks nice. Strong breakout, follow through, looking really, 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 really good. Broadcom, it's probably going to close this gap probably this week. It looks like it wants to. Again, we had this move 1, 2 after earnings, held, started moving back up. So again, a lot of these things are going to look a little bit iffy just because of Friday. But for now, everything looks relatively fine and safe, at least from what we looked at. Qualcomm, I mean, again, you see right in the 8-day holding. We'll see if we get a bounce off of it. We did smash into the 200 and got rejected. We'll see if we can get back above it. That may start to spike some things. ASML. I mean, they're all right. It's okay. It's holding where it kind of needs to. We may see 752, see if that holds. But it's looking okay for right now. Let's just get into energy because everybody wants that. Okay. Exxon, obviously, will move in the oil markets like this. Energy stocks are going to start moving. So obviously, this does make sense. If you're trading these companies based off of the conflict, be very careful. It just takes de-escalation and one headline, and the war premium gets pulled out of oil. And the next thing you know, you could get shell-shocked in this and be like, what just happened? So if you're trading them because of the company, it's one thing. If you're trading it because you're using this as a derivative on oil, be very careful. Chevron, same deal. They're all going to look the same just because of what took place on Friday. With Phillips, you see it's the same picture over and over and over again. EOG, see it's literally the same picture. Marathon Petroleum. Marathon is in the news because Over the weekend, there was a fire at one of their plants. So Marathon is going to be in the news on Monday. Halliburton. They're all going to basically look the same. See, they're all getting that same pop. And we're going to go into the XLE, the OAH in a minute. But you see Schlumberger, it's all the same picture. Seeing some natural gas names. Baker Hughes, not really doing much. Kinder Morgan, really doing much. Cheniere, really doing much. And they're a little bit more, the action's more in the oil names. EQT, it's okay. It may want to take this out. We got to move above 57 or so. This actually could get some juice to it. Let's look at the XLE quickly. Obviously, XLE, you saw the name, so you see why it's doing what it's doing. It's coming into this. Let's just look quickly at OIH and then XOP. Same kind of, they all look the same. XOP. You see that? Even if you go on, if you're not a futures trader and you trade, say, the USO, obviously you had a big pop here that if you're trading energy based off of oil or energy names based off of oil, stay with A plus names. Don't go to the crap. The crap is not going to help you here. It just takes one headline, one de-escalation, and then oil falls on a bit. There's about $8 to $10 worth of war premium built into oil right now, and the demand is not there. So it just takes one headline, just one. Now, that does not mean go balls to the wall looking to short it, because that would be stupid. Trade what's in front of you, but don't be surprised if it starts to go down and be like, well, there's a war going on. True, but understand what is going on before you start jumping into all these energy names because you think they should do this, that, and a third thing. Move on to IBB. IBB looking good. It looks really nice. XBI also looking good. I know that they're pulling in a little bit, but maybe we get a move to the 21-day in the XBI. IBB looks better than the XBI, but I think this potentially looking for that 200. Some of the names. Gilead looking nice. Amgen also looking nice. Regen, better places to be. Vertex could be interesting next week if it can get above this 460. If it can get to 200, there might be enough power and juice in this thing to get it into the gap. So keep Vertex on your radar. Biogen also looking interesting. I would say a move above 48, 49 could send it to 51. That's definitely looking nice. I'd keep that on the radar as well. Exact Science, it's okay. Not really a barn burner. ALNY, this is looking really good. Keep this on the radar also. We take out 310. There could be enough on this thing to send it. And then NC. NC's okay, but again, we went through a couple of other names that I think are looking better. Let's look at financials quickly, because it is FOMC week. JP Morgan looking fine. Citi looking fine. Bank of America looking fine. I know a lot of them are going to be, I know it's a regurgitation. Wells Fargo, you would have thought that the news that they had a couple of days ago would actually push the stock up. They're actually selling it off. We might have a double bottom over here. I don't know, but I wouldn't be looking to buy this thing until it got above, reclaimed the 50 and was really starting to push to get above the 21. I'd be a little bit more on my toes with this one. Goldman, looking fine. Morgan, looking fine. CME. CME is an interesting stock. I like CME hedge because when you get a lot of volatility, CME is usually up because obviously volumes go up and they make a lot more money because people are doing more trading on their exchange. So it's usually, not always, but a lot of times when markets are down, CME is up. So it's always a good thing to keep your eye on the radar when markets definitely have increased volatility. Let's go to FANG. Let's see what those guys are doing. Apple, it just tells you the announcement was a dud. So the stock is acting that way. And it's not special. It's just not special. Microsoft is special. This is just beautiful. Look at this trend. This is just great. This gap and just go. This is just great. Pullbacks are buyable. It's just looking amazing. Amazon, it's okay. Again, nothing special. It's holding, but it's nothing special. Google, it's okay. Meta, maybe Meta comes into the 21, and then that would be a good buy point in it. which actually happens to coincide with these highs going back to May, mid-May. So that might actually be something to keep on your radar. CrowdStrike. Oops. CrowdStrike looking good. It's a little bit sloppy and choppy a little bit, but it's definitely holding, so it's looking nice. Let's look at our friend Netflix. Netflix, I know that I'm going to get a lot of heat for this. I definitely see this 1500 in the cards, and I'm sticking by that 2000 price target. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I'm definitely sticking by it. People are hiding here. They used to hide in Apple, and I think they're hiding in Netflix. So it really doesn't take much for Netflix to just really start getting going. I don't know what's going to happen, but I think they're going to buy somebody. And I think if they were to make the announcement that they are buying somebody, I think that's your bogey to allow this sucker to really start ripping, because people are definitely hiding here. So good service now to end off. Have a look at Tesla, obviously. It's okay. Nothing really special. Tesla, I don't really know what to make of this because it's not really moving Tesla per se. It's really moving on Musk. So really the insight into what happens with Tesla is what happens with Musk. I know I'm laughing about it, but really that's the only thing I can tell you. It doesn't really get me excited. This chart is not very exciting. Let's just look at Palantir. Palantir also still looking good, holding where it needs to, taking a couple of days to rest. And maybe there's the next thrust, 140 starts to send it to 150, and we'll see where it goes from there. Okay, guys, see you next week.